Hello guys, and welcome to the extended Pentagon challenge. We are here with Ulsan Hyundai, and we're in a new season. Last season we had pretty much a perfect season. We won the league, the cup, and the Asian Champions League. And I decided I would continue a little bit longer my tenure at Ulsan Hyundai, for potentially 2 or 3 seasons. Partly to cement a little bit of reputation for the manager Andres Salazar, partly to not have these kind of sudden changes all the time where we move from one club to another, and also I thought it'd be nice to win another Champions League or a couple of K-League titles, simply because it is the biggest league in Asia. And to get those under our belt. Plus, I don't see any real detriment. I'm trying to get through this reasonably quickly, but I'm not looking to, just as soon as I win something, get out the country. Unless, like Percy Pura, I really wasn't enjoying it. Anyway, let's look at the signings, and it was actually quite an eventful window, which is a little bit unlike me. I tend to, not sell much, not buy much, and tend to try and use the players I can at the club. But the situation that occurred was, so this guy left, Ala Afash. He came in from Al Shorter just before I took over at the club. No doubt he's actually a decent player, but he's a left winger, and at the moment I haven't really needed to change my tactics since Melgar, which doesn't use any wingers. So you could look to convert him to a striker or maybe a central midfielder, but he doesn't really have the stats for that. He looks like a pure out and out winger. So I sold him on, not for a lot of money. He's gone to South Africa, Sundowns in South Africa, in fact. But yeah, one of those things where sometimes depending on the tactic you use, some players just don't fit into it, and this guy just didn't fit into it. The big player to leave was Carl Brantimo. This guy was the number one centre back, one of the top centre backs, probably in the league, and certainly our top centre back. When the usual news item comes up, asking if we would like to obviously offer new contracts to players who only have 1 year left, this guy was not signing a new contract. The backstory to this was that he actually came to me asking whether I would, saying that he wanted to move on to a bigger club was the first thing. So I had to promise him that we win the Champions League last season, and we did. So I thought, well, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Did exactly what he asked. Clearly the club's growing, and that's 2 leagues in a row, 1 Champions League, probably just that's 2 Champions Leagues probably in about 5 years. So I thought, oh, crisis over. But no, he wouldn't sign a new contract this year. So I thought, well, I don't really want to lose him. I didn't really want to lose him, but I certainly didn't want to lose him next summer for basically nothing on a Bosman. So I decided, I'd fish around in the market and see who would get him. I put in a asking price of about 4 million. Anyway, what came back was roughly between 2 and kind of 3.3 million. I in the end I allowed him to basically kind of pick his club. I probably agreed to 6 or 7 of the offers, which ranged from about 3 million to 3.4 million. And in the end, he picked 1860 Munich. He could have gone to Porto, could have gone to a lot of other clubs. I guess 1860. I don't know how they're doing in the. So they're in the top division in the Bundesliga now. So I guess he wanted a shot at the kind of a big league in Germany, and I guess there's a few bigger than the Bundesliga. But he went for 3 million. A bit of a loss, but sometimes these are the perfect scenarios where you have time to prepare. And another sign that went, or another guy that went, this guy Son Yun Woo, not much to report really, a youngster, and we got 24k from him. And then Park Ji Sung, again hadn't really featured for us for quite a while. He was out on loan last season at Sangju. A row came in for him from Switzerland, and I thought, well, best off get rid of him. He probably would have played a couple of games, but nothing too major. And for me, 140k is good money for him. So because Brantemo left, we then had to obviously get in a centre back pretty pronto, and this guy is about as good as you can get, really. Segura Kaneko comes in from Urara Reds for, I think it was 2.1 million, although the deal was actually structured so that only one element of it was up front. And obviously, then there were monthly repayments for him. But good signing. I think he's an ideal replacement for Brantemo, and actually really helped out because what this allowed was, because the Korean League basically allows you 4 foreigners, but it's actually 3 non-Asians and 1 Asian non-Korean basically. Obviously, you can have as many non-Korean, you can have as many Japanese players as you want, or up to 4 anyway. But the optimal way to structure it, or structure your team really, is to have 3 players from anywhere in the world, 1 player from a good Asian player, hopefully better than the Koreans, and then obviously your Korean staple. But this guy really does come in, and he looks really good quality. 193 centimeters, so he's probably about 6'5". So he's a really big guy. Good pace as well, good strength. I think he's a great signing actually, and he's done really well so far. So yeah, and when I get into the fixtures, I think he's actually improved us quite a bit. Because we brought in effectively an Asian player, we actually then freed up another slot for a foreign player, and we got in an absolute beast of a striker. He'd been let go from Schalke. Dusan Kaneki comes in. Look at the stats, like pace 16, agility 16, balance 16, composure 13, off the ball 17, teamwork 18, finishing 17, long shots 15, heading 12, not too bad, first touch 15. So this guy has the stats to be an absolute beast at this level. I mean, he's not done too badly. He's not really got the goals I would have liked. He's got 2 goals in 9 in the league, and obviously 3 in 15, which is pretty poor. But with that comes 8 assists, and I think he's that one of those kind of strikers who's very good at playing other people in. So I think he fits the system. He just probably won't get the goals tally that you might expect. But a great signing, I think. We've also got another guy who's actually going to be coming in. That guy is. So we've got this guy, Patsy Arasso, coming in on a free. The idea around him will be basically to put him out probably on loan for a period of time. He's coming in for about 4 or 5k, no big loss, and then obviously I can, as time goes on, work out whether he's going to actually be a player we can kind of do something with or not. Either way, he's got a 4.5 star rating, so he's going to be a very good player. He's going to have good resale value. The main guy actually to talk about is actually Tatsuki Sasaki, another Japanese guy. And you're thinking, well, aren't you now over? I would be, however. So let's talk about this guy first. Again, brilliant physical stats. The guy's got, he's not tall, but everything to do with movement and pace, he's got it in abundance. Good finishing, not great heading. That's kind of where he's going to be ball into feet kind of guy, and he's going to finish a lot of chances off. I'm hoping. So Sasaki's going to come in. The reason why we're potentially going to get rid or get him in is because Daniel Jinjak, I mean, I said he's only, obviously his contract's up at the end of the year. He's actually been having a pretty good season, actually a fantastically good season. 5 goals in 7 in the league, 10 in 12. He's much more of a finisher than the other German we got in. What's his name? Kanachi. But Jinjak has got this big injury, 4 to 5 months. And what I'm thinking is, I know his contract's up on the 12th, but he's only going to be back probably so we're talking, if let's say it's 5 months, that's June, July, August, September, October, his contract's almost up. So I'm almost better off, releasing him, seeing if I can sell him, certainly not registering him for the rest of the season, because, the guy's career here is done, and we're already replacing him with a Japanese guy. And, I'm feeling really good because at the moment, I'm able to get in the transfers that I want. Looks like we've had a bid for Sandro, but I'll look at that in a bit. Anyway, let's cover the fixtures. I believe we need to cover the fixtures from last season first. So you saw that we won the Champions League on penalties, a bizarre match. We then moved on to Sangju away, and we continued our fine form. Lorenzo Andrietta, Sandro and Carl Brantimo getting the goals. Kim Sang-soo getting one back for Sangju, but we won, and these games didn't mean anything at this point, so happy to win them, but really not that bothered. Daniel Chinchak getting the only goal against Seoul as we beat them, and again, just absolutely, reduced them to basically no chances in that game, so a good win, 1-0, pretty solid. And then a 3-0 away to Suwon as we picked up all the points. Song Jae-yoon and Daniel Jinjak getting both goals, or getting 2 of the goals, as we won the game 3-0. We moved on to the FIFA World Club Cup. So we just, or FIFA Club World Cup, we just won the Champions League. So I was a little bit surprised to see it here, but logically it does always happen in December. And we opened up in the quarterfinals against America of Mexico, a very difficult team, and a fantastic result for us actually, as we beat them. Sandro getting 1, Daniel Chinchek getting 2, and then Francis Adiemi getting 2 back. And you remember him from when we were a Nigeria manager. This guy gets a lot of goals, and he's got a lot of goals for his club. I mean, he's probably that's a fabulous record he's got, and he just gets a lot of goals. So he gave us a lot of trouble, but we held out and we won the game by 3 goals to 2, 3-0 up in that game actually. So a little bit disappointed for it to be so close. Then we faced Sampdoria, and you're probably thinking, well, Sampdoria, that's a bit of a strange one. But yes, Sampdoria beat Barcelona in the final, and the ironic thing about that is if we go to the Champions League and we look at Sampdoria is still the champion. Yeah, so if you go back to, I think it was 1992, Sampdoria actually lost to Barcelona in 1992 at Wembley. Well, what's that? 21 years later, Sampdoria beats Barcelona at Wembley. So a little bit of a strange deja vu there. In case you haven't seen the Champions League history, this is the history. Jose Mourinho and Chelsea have been hugely successful in recent years. Barcelona obviously picking up 2, but Sampdoria, that's a fantastic achievement for Sampdoria. So we played Sampdoria, and we ended up actually losing the game. No disrespect, I guess, in that result. I mean, actually we did pretty well. Abdullah Al-Arbi, we faced him before. He's Saudi Arabian. Bit of a handful. And Jamal Naimi, I believe he's French, a very good French player, getting the goals for them. We did pull one back, Daniel Jinjek getting one back, but in the end Sampdoria were too good, and they went on to the final and actually ended up winning the final against Corinthians. We did play in the 3rd and 4th place playoff, and we faced Ghanaian team Ashanti Gold, and actually won that game by 2-0. Sandro both goals. We pretty much, probably the easiest game we've had of the Club World Cup, as we dominated the game pretty much from start to finish. All the games taking place in, I believe, Tunisia for the Club World Cup, and so we finished 3rd in the world, which isn't bad. I mean, considering Asian teams don't normally make it to the semi-finals, let alone drive the European team pretty close. It was a hell of an achievement. So we started the new season with 4 friendlies, and first up was Harbin Yiteng, and we won that game by 4-0 away. Lorenzo Andrietta, Lee Woo Young, and Dusan Kanaki getting 2 goals on his debut. Guangzhou RNF were next, and Dusan Kanaki getting another 2. Sandro and Daniel Jinjek getting another, as we won that game 4-0 as well. Guangzhou Evergrande, so one of the bigger teams in China, were up next, and we won that game by 3-0. Lee Woo Young, Daniel Chinchek, and Suguru Kaneko getting the goals, as we won that game quite handsomely. And we finished off the pre-season with an absolutely roasting of Yam Yam Baikdu, Choi Kyung Rock, Dusan Kanaki with 2, Song Jae-yoon with 1, Daniel Chinchek with a hat-trick, and Sandro capping things off as we won 8-1. A fantastic performance, and really kicked us off for the league. The league would open up against Suwon, and we won that game 3-0. A very impressive performance to start things off, as we dispatched the Suwon. Sandro with 2, and Choi Jae-young with 1 in a game which we very much dominated. Suwon last season actually won the reverse fixture, or one of the reverse fixtures. I think we rested players. So, nice to start things up with a nice 3-0 win. So we were back in the AFC Champions League and obviously looking to retain our title, and we got drawn in Group E, and Group E was between us and Shandong Luneng of China, Buriram United of Thailand, so just to show you Shandong Luneng, there's Shandong Luneng, and it was Yokohama F. Marinosh of Japan, in a very big club actually, Yokohama F. Marinosh. So it was a I wouldn't say a tough group. Obviously, we're I think the best team in Asia at the moment. So I think playing anyone, we should be favourites. But we start off with a fantastic win away to probably the team that would probably cause us the most potential damage or potential worries in the Yokohama F. Marinosh, and we won that game by 3-0. Choi Kyung-rock, Sandro and Choi Jae-young getting the goals as we dispatched F. Marinos away from home, setting us up for qualification really. Next up, Jeonbuk at home, and we had a very tough start to the league. Some of the top teams in South Korea, but it wasn't really affecting us as we won the game by 2-0. Sandro and Choi Kyung-rock getting the goals as we dominate against Jeonbuk. Next up was Buriram United, the whipping boys of the group, or expected whipping boys of the group, and we beat them by 4-0. Daniel Chinchat with 2. Sandro and Choi Jae-young getting the goals as we absolutely dominate. 32 shots, 15 on target. Buriram absolutely under siege pretty much all game as we ran out 4-0 winners. Next up, what has been normally a very difficult game in Jeonnam Dragons, and we beat them by 3-1. Dusan Kanaki with 11 minutes of goal, and then we had to wait. Choi Chan, he actually did equalise, but Choi Kyung-rock with a penalty made it 2-1, and Park Hee-young made it 3, and the points safe on the day as we ran out winners and continued our blistering form. We welcomed Yokohama F. Marinosh to our stadium for the Champions League again, and a resounding win, 4-0. Cha In-ho, Dusan Kanaki, Kim Sung-soo and Choi Kyung-rock getting the goals as we absolutely blitzed past Marinos to really book our place in the next round. Next up was Daejeon. A team we should be beating, and we did. Daniel Chinchat, Dusan Kanaki and Sandro with 2 as we won 4-1. Yun Il Lok with the goal for Daejeon. Again, a game we dominated and a nice victory there. Gwangju were up next, and again another team we should be beating. Cha In-ho getting us off to a good start, but we were pulled back by Ju Bong Kyun as Gwangju got a shock equaliser, but it was not to last. As Sandro just before half time, and then Daniel Jinjak in the second half gave us the 4-1 win as we took the 3 points. Up next was actually Seongnam. You remember this game was a cup final last year, and it was actually quite a tight affair this time round. Lee Chul-suk put Seongnam in the lead, but Daniel Chinchat responded a few minutes later to make things 1-1 at half time. In the second half, Chinchat would get another to make it 2-1, but Seongnam were not done. Park Jae-min getting the equaliser 10 minutes from time, but Park Hee-young for Ulsan getting the victory 93rd minute to keep the perfect record alive as Ulsan marched on. We then went to Thailand for the return leg, or the return game against Buriram United, and there was no closer this time. A 5-0 win. Choi Kyung-rock with 2, Park Hee-young with 2, and Daniel Chinchat getting the goals as we beat Buriram by 5-0. And we actually then had a kind of a week off as we then faced more Champions League football as we faced Shandong Luneng in the cup, and the first goal actually we conceded of the tournament, as Sandro got us off to a lead, and then Liu Hui Quan equalised for the home side. Sandro then, or rather Choi Kyung Rock then getting another just before half time, and then Sandro making the point safe with another goal to make it 3-1. Hui Quan did respond 2 minutes later, but Ulsan holding out, and 3 points again, and 18 points in the group, and fantastic performance. So 22 scored, 2 conceded, a goal difference of plus 20, 18 point. You really cannot do better than that when it comes to getting out of your group. And F Marinos go through with us as Shandong Luneng will rue what was I think a draw against, if we go through the results, yes, an away draw against Buriram did not help them out actually. They did actually beat F Marinos at home, and I think they lost away. So I think that result was ultimately what put them out, really. If I just go through, that would have been the result that actually put them out. So that will be disappointing for them, but ultimately they needed to beat Buriram to have the chance, and they didn't. So we let's go back to the fixtures, as we then faced Sangju at home. Always a difficult fixture. Sangju tend to be a pretty good side, and this time round we managed to get the points as we responded to a Cho Hyo Jin goal, as Sangju actually took a shot lead, but Sandro came back with a hat-trick, and Choi Jae-young getting one as well, as we ran out 4-1 winners. And then we went away to Jeju. I always find this a very difficult game. Jeju United are a difficult side, seem to always be able to pull the strings. Eduardo Gallardo of Melgar in the starting lineup. So playing against one of my former players, he's very good player. And draw. So Sandro getting a goal, but Kim Jin Ho about 10 minutes before half time pulling things back, and that's how it ended. We probably deserved the points. But we drop our first points away to Jeju. So tonight's game will be the derby against Pohang Steelers, a game actually that's always been quite difficult for us since my tenure started, but hoping that we can reverse things here. So South Korea is the other, obviously the country I'm managing at the moment, and things have not been going so well. I remember last time we actually had. I believe we'd gone through oh no, we hadn't actually. Okay, so I remember last time that we had a few qualifiers to go, and so Saudi Arabia and Qatar. We beat Saudi Arabia at home, a very good win. Park Hyun-suk getting the goal. This guy's very important when he's available. He's an Inter player, probably one of the best players in for South Korea. His values plummeted. He was at one point worth about 20 million. I think they paid 11.5 million, but his value at one point was definitely up, towards the 20 million. He's now worth 3 million. I'm not exactly sure what's happened to him. I think injuries might have, he's been injured quite a bit, and that's not helped matters. But so the thing that mattered was we beat Saudi Arabia in a very even match, and that was good. We then lost to Qatar, unfortunately, and we were 2-0 down before we even had a chance to think. Samuel Asamoah getting the goal for them. Cho Yun-soo, unfortunately, scoring in his own net. And Abdulaziz Hamdi could have actually made it 3, but he missed the penalty. In the second half, we were much better, and Ji Dong-won did get one back, but we couldn't find a second. And that's how, unfortunately, it ended. But it would get worse, unfortunately. So we go into the final game. Things were quite simple. If we won against Lebanon, we would almost certainly be through. I mean, we couldn't be sure, because if Qatar drew against Saudi Arabia, then we'd need to beat Lebanon by quite a few goals. Well, we didn't even get the first part right. An absolutely abysmal performance home to Lebanon. Sultan Majarashi getting a goal after 30 minutes as we absolutely toiled. I mean, we created chances, but just didn't put things away. And I still haven't got the measure of South Korea as their manager. Ji Dong-won didn't pull one back with 13 minutes left, and I was willing them to get something, because I knew that I think it was Saudi Arabia were leading against Qatar, but in the end, we drew, and amazingly, we crashed out of the groups. You know, even not even delaying at the last groups, the first groups that we faced, albeit it was a reasonably tough tough group to get out of, but we will not be progressing, and so disappointing, so disappointing in the end, as you can see all the groups there. But so the debrief was not kind. Obviously, the board of directors at the South Korean FA were not happy with my performance, and in fact, I wasn't sacked. I wasn't sacked. They obviously reprimanded me and said, I should be doing a lot better otherwise, but they would give me another chance unless, and if I didn't do any better, then obviously I would then be looking for another job. Probably my reputation getting me out of that one, especially my recent performance with Ulsan. But this is what infuriates me about South Korea, is that we play against Lebanon at home and we draw 1-1, and then we play really well against like a top side like Serbia, and I get a draw, away. It's really infuriating. So, I mean, that game, Ko Jae-young getting the goal for us, that was responded by Milorad Djurdjevic, and then Lazar Markovic actually put them ahead. But just before half time, Ji-dong won. He's old now, but he still pops up with the goals. He's now at Lech Hwyr, actually. He still pops up with enough goals for us to warrant his inclusion. And so 2-2. That's how it ended, and a pretty good little outing for that friendly. So Pohang Steelers hit the derby, the Dong Hyeyan derby. Obviously, we're favourites. Brantimo recalls the spirit. So Brantimo has obviously got Korean TV to be able to watch the derby. Still a follower, I guess. Not sure really, because he wanted to leave the club, so I don't know why he's coming out in the press still talking about us. Anyway, before that, I'll just show you the stats. I actually came up with a new team sheet view. Is that it? Yeah. So team sheet view, I think, shows you everything you need to see, apart from the ratings there. It doesn't show you goals actually. So let me put the to general selection info. Selection info. So if we go to average rating, as you can see, Sandro has been an absolute beast this season. 15 in 15, and 11 in 9 in the league. He's just been on fire. His goal scoring record for the club is fantastic. So I don't think I'll be letting him go. I remember there was a bid for him. Choi Kyung-rock again has been playing out of his skin. 29-year-old centre midfielder, and he's just been scoring goals after goals. This season, 8 already. Chinchak injured, unfortunately, 10 in 13, and I think he might have played his kind of final games for the club. We've got to move on to make sure that we keep improving this team. King Sung-soo, remember one of my signings from John Book, and he's been doing actually a very good job. Made that right back spot his own, and been doing the job. And then a weird one actually, Kim Sung-jae. Last time round, we had this player. He was out on loan at Seoul. I have no idea why the previous manager decided to do that. But we obviously got him back, and he's been obviously first choice left back. There's no doubt about that, and really been doing again a good job. So I'm pretty happy with the team at the moment. I think it's really cooking on gas, so to speak, doing the right things. We're up next against Guangzhou, and let's move on to the match. So hopefully we can win this. This has always been a difficult game actually against Pohang. A big win there for Jeonbuk, as they, I think they're the closest to us at the moment. Jeonbuk. Let's have a quick look at the league. Yeah, Jeonbuk are the closest to us. So you can see, I didn't show you the league actually, that's a bit crap. As you can see, we're 5 points clear with a game in hand over the main guys. Seoul has started atrociously. Seoul at one point were in the relegation places. Jeonnam Dragons haven't started very well either. But generally speaking, it's the main guys. Sangju have started appallingly as well. But yeah, the main guys are in there, and I think Jeju this season might be a force. But by and large, we are absolutely destroying the league at this point. In fact, the Jeju result, the only negative result this season really, and that was still a draw. So yeah, let's pick the team. We're obviously going to go standard Sandro, and yeah, hope the Jinjak deal, or rather injury, doesn't damage us, because I think that he was an important player. You might think, oh, you're moving a bit quickly to get rid of the guy. I was really going to get rid of him anyway. He's 33. I knew when I got him in, it was kind of a short-term solution, and he kind of fit the bill. But yeah, let's go put this back. Let's put it on key. Let's start the match, and let's go to the pitch. So Pohang in red, Ulsan in the famous blue, and yeah, the derby is underway, and not many highlights to speak of, but we seem to be getting the majority of the action. And here, Rock to Sandro. Sandro breaks past his man, shoots, oh, hits the bar. He's been in incredible form this season, and I thought that might have been another there. And yeah, so pretty big shot there from Sandro, as he looked to score. Jai picks it up on the wing, looking to set off Sandro, but he's not going to get there. And Kwon Namil inside to June. Oh, sets off Kwon Namil body. Oh, he hit him. It hit him in the back of the legs, and unfortunately, that's going to lead to a counter attack. And Kanaki puts through Rock, and he puts through Andretta, and Andretta, when it was easier to score, somehow managed to find the keeper. Just need to knock it back across him, but he tried to go. Kind of where the keeper was, and in the end, Nodin didn't do enough. Campillo for Pohang. It's Jubarin with the ball. Oh my goodness me! Jang Dong-won has been beaten from an absolute fluke of a cross, and pretty poor goalkeeping, you must say. And suddenly it's looking again like a bit of a shock here, as Pohang lead Ulsan at half time. And that was shocking goalkeeping, really was. Anyway, let's G him up. Let's get back out there. Let's do the job. That's what we need to do. And Young to Jai to Rock, and that's the end of that highlight. And Kwon Namil into the box, and it hits the bar. What is the goalkeeper seems to be getting his angles all wrong today, allowing the ball up instead of just claiming it, claiming the ball where he can. But it's very strange. Still 1-0, and changes are gonna need to be made here. Sandro off for, I don't even think that's worthwhile. There's worse areas of the pitch. Hoon on for Cha, change up with Andretta, and June on for Kaneko, who's had a shocker. And let's see if we can recover this. 20 minutes to go. Could be our first loss of the season. And really no highlights. This is so poor. And one chance here. Come on, Sue to Andrietta. Sue, Hoon, back to Sue. Sue crosses, and that's going to be easily away. Hoon! Oh, it's got to be. It is. It's Young. Has got the equaliser. Didn't clear their lines, Pohang. And they've let Ulsan back in with 3 minutes to go. Unbelievable. Terrible defending in the derby. Got to say, I mean, poor goalkeeping first, and then just didn't clear his lines and allowed the guy in. And, deserves shooting if you do that in a derby. And 1-1. And Ulsan's form has dipped a little bit, as that's 2 draws in a row. And got to be winning these games. Letting the other teams back in, really. It's a 6-point gap now to Jeonbuk. And yeah, not ideal, guys. Anyway, so I'll that was the live game for today, and I'll United FC, did they? Oh yeah, this isn't. Yeah, Seoul have sacked another manager. Hwang Jin-sung has gone. They want Pohang's manager, Lee Chun-soo. This guy used to be a pretty good. Yeah, I remember him. He was a pretty good player for South Korea actually. And Sanju's or Seong Nams. Anyway, pretty poor. We're now unbeaten though in 13 games, so we're doing well in that respect. And looks like the guy from Pohang actually wants to go. But yeah, guys, that was episode 30 of the extended Pentagon challenge. If you're enjoying it, leave a comment, leave a like, leave any kind of communication. I'll obviously try and get back to you on anything like that. Also, let me know if there's anything you want me to check in the game. We're now 10 seasons into the game. So if you want to see your favourite team, what's it looking like, how they've been doing, then let me know, and maybe I can cover it in one of the episodes for you. But yeah, that was episode 30, and see me in the next episode 31, where we'll be basically at the start of the second phase of the league, and I'll be recapping all the results up until then. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.